Google DeepMind. I'm focused on the Gemma products. I'll explain what they are in a little bit, but my main goal is always to talk about the Google AI. Here today is to talk about Google's AI stack and what you can build with it, what's available. We had a lot of great releases recently, and I had to update this deck a couple of times in the last week because of how fast things are moving. And I hope we can have a good conversation by the end. I will try to explain how everything works, and I'll answer whatever questions you have after I finish, because then otherwise I might lose track of what I'm presenting. And so let's try to get on this topic. And so here at DeepMind, our main goal is to make AI available and helpful to everyone. The idea is it's not only that we keep the technology to ourselves, but to share with everyone, so that everyone can use it and benefit from it and build with it. That's very, very important. There are so many possibilities, and sharing these capabilities and enabling others to build with it, that's how we will all benefit in the end. So this is one of our main goals why we build this, why we create these APIs, why we share with everyone. That being said, we've been talking about AI all the time, artificial intelligence, but I guess one question that should come before everything else is, why is intelligence important? Why did it become important now? Why is everyone talking about it, right? And to talk about that, we have to talk about two revolutions that came before. The first revolution is the Industrial Revolution, and that was when all of a sudden humanity had the ability to produce and massively anything. Basically, we could build things. All of a sudden, you could, I want to build thousands of something. That became possible. So this, of course, this capability and this revolution enable us to change society to start with, right? The society became from something more farming related to more manufacturing related, and it changed how people work, how people deal with each other, changed everything. So this was a kind of a big deal, right? None of us were there, I guess, at that time, but it changed how everything worked. This was what, I guess, the first revolution we will talk today. The second one is the information revolution. So with the advent of the public internet and then smartphones and this connectivity, the things changed again. So having access to the information everywhere, all the time, all the information you can imagine, that also changed how we perceive things. It changed how we perceive each other, how we communicate, changed politics, economics, changed everything. So it's we are still understanding the impact of the information revolution. And this is, well, you all have been seeing this, right? Most of you, a lot of you may be from before the information revolution, so you see the impact it had. Some of you were born during this happening, which is pretty interesting. So this is pretty interesting for everyone. But the challenge now is, you have all this information, but how do you understand that? How do you make sense of it? How do you use it? And this is why we are seeing now what we call the intelligence revolution, where we are enabling people to understand all this data. When we say intelligence, is the ability to comprehend, to understand, to interpret, to use all this information from the previous revolution and make it somehow helpful and useful. And this is what's happening right now, right? The intelligence revolution. Let's say that's what we are in right now. We are enabling you to not only go read a Wikipedia page, but read all Wikipedia pages about a topic and summarize and understand, and maybe solve a problem with those. Maybe push science with this information, with this understanding. And this is really, really big, right? We are here, we understand that this might be the most important thing happening, maybe, I wouldn't say in history, but maybe at least in the last many, many years, because this could enable us to do the next step in our development evolution in our in drugs creation, medicine, in healthcare, in economics and understanding people, in society in general. So this is a big deal, right? This is quite important for everyone. And that's why we're going to talk about how Google AI technology can help you be part of this and help build this revolution, be part of it, build products, and leave your mark there, right? It's pretty cool. Before going there, let me explain a little bit about what Google DeepMind is. Of course, Google, you know, the company that has the search, created search. We have many products. Of course, we have cloud, Android, Chrome, but we have a AI lab, which we call DeepMind. This lab was created in 2010. Google acquired in 2014. And a couple of years ago, we merged our research inside this organization inside Google called Google DeepMind, where we do all the research that you've seen lately. So our models, all the things I'm going to talk later, they all come from Google DeepMind. That's where most of our AI related, not only AI, but research related stuff is coming from. And in the last year until May, here you can see we shipped a lot of stuff. So you can see there are many names in the screen. And these are, it's not all. There's more things that are not there. It didn't fit. So we've been shipping relentlessly. It's every day there's something. There's some kind of new thing coming. It's pretty hard to keep up, to be honest. I try, but I don't know everything, to be fair. I try to pay attention to at least a part of it, because it's so many things happening at the same time. And this is hard for everyone, I know. But I guess when you start to study and use the tools, you at least can keep up with the tools you're using and understand those. Today, I'm going to show some of them to you. I would like to explain how this stack works and why it's so important, right? One important aspect to have, when we talk about AI, is there's many things related to using AI that is more than just like an API, right? More than just a model. For example, here we have multiple layers. For example, we have, of course, the foundation models, Gemini, that you all know about, Gemma, Imagen, and others. This is one part of the stack. You have access to a model. But to build things, you need more than a model. You would need, for example, a framework to help you build agents. And that would be the ADK that you see on the right there. But you can get one model and customize it for yourself. And to customize these models, we also have AI more frameworks like kind of JAX and Keras that can help you customize this model for your specific need. We'll talk about a little bit more about customizing models later today. But more than that, you need a place for you to work on these models, right? Where do you create this application? How do you call? Where do you type your code, right? Where do you do your thing? And we have many points that you can choose. For example, we have Google AI Studio. If you go ai.dev right now, you can play already with all these models. Or you can go in Colab, where you can get access to free GPUs for you to try models, for you to try training models. And we also have Kaggle, which is I guess the largest platform for you to learn about artificial intelligence right now. I strongly recommend you try. After you build your thing, your application, your solution, you need infrastructure to serve that, unless you want to run this only on your computer. But if you want to share with other users, you need access to hardware, to infrastructure. And that's where we have, for example, Vertex AI, that you can easily get access to TPUs, GPUs, CPUs, whatever kind of hardware that you need. And this is part of the infrastructure, right? So you need that. And more than that, you need to run services. You need to be able to deploy this. And we have also, of course, the deployment layer with Google Cloud. You can deploy this for millions of users and have your own VMs running on the cloud. You can run that on device. For example, you could run some of these models completely on your phone, on your computer, on the browser, on embedded devices like a Raspberry Pi. So we give you access to all of this. So you have every tool that you might need. And the fun fact is that this image here, you can see all these tools and mods and stuff. It's already I need to update it. It's already missing some icons there because things move so fast, right? And to start about that, let's talk a little bit about the first one you see there, maybe the main one, which is Gemini. Gemini is our main model. I would say today is still the most intelligent model, the most powerful model available, if you average all benchmarks, let's say like that. And that's Google's most powerful model. And there's we are giving access to this model to everyone. And last week, I don't know if you remember, we released Gemini 3. And why does it matter? Let me go over the details. First of all, we have Gemini 1 maybe 2 years ago. Sorry. And the idea of Gemini 1 was to starting to understand data, right? Remember I told you about this intelligence revolution. So Gemini 1 brings the capability for you to start to understanding lots of data. When we moved to, if you remember, Gemini 1.5 is the first model that brought a very large context window with 1 million tokens. And so you could put all your data there and ask questions. But then we note that the models are great and all, but they could do more. So we launched Gemini 2, which enables a new capability called thinking, which is the model introspectively looking to its answer and working out on that to give you a better answer. And this was a pretty big deal because it made the model even more intelligent, give more capabilities. And the next evolution that we made for Gemini is the action. So now the model is way better at coding and function calling and all these agentic capabilities. So it goes from more than just understanding and having a deeper understanding. It now can act and use tools and go on and be more agentic. And this is one of the most powerful models you can use to these kind of things. Here, for example, we have one of the benchmarks. I'm not going to keep showing you numbers only, but this one is an important one. Why? LM Arena is a benchmark that it's basically, you go there, I strongly recommend you take a look. You go to LM Arena, you can query 2 models at the same time, and you choose which one do you prefer. Of course, it's blindly, right? You don't know which model it is. And the fact that Gemini is the top one is because most of the users prefer answers from Gemini, or Gemini's answers are the most correct or the best written. So this is not like a benchmark that you can just run the model randomly. It's based on people's perception, and we are first, still first, and it will probably be first for a while there. And one of the why it happens like that because of the state-of-the-art reasoning and the multimodality, right? All Gemini models are multimodal from scratch, so they can understand video, image, audio, code, whatever we put there, and it understands that and translates into a summary or something about that you can ask. Of course, the models have a gigantic context window with 1 million tokens, so you can put like a whole movie, whole books, and ask questions about those. And those answers are pretty strong. And more than just all of that, it's also multilingual, so you can put text in basically any language that you want, and this is pretty strong. But more than that, the model also has this improved agent capability. So when we say that is the model is very good on coding, so you can use as your code assistant, let's say like that, when you're building something, or when you want to create an agent yourself that has function calling, that wants to, for example, search the internet, to call functions from your internal systems, for example, can query your databases, can understand your data. So all of this is pretty strong. It got a very big boost on that, and we can see these boosts in terms of benchmarks, right? So we're state of the art in all these new benchmarks related to tool uses, and this is tool use is pretty hard topic for a model, right? Because you just say, hey, you have all these tools, figure it out when you need to use them, and the model has to understand how to do it, and this is a hard task for a model, and Gemini 3 is very strong on that. And as you can see in all these benchmarks, Of course, benchmarks are not everything. I would strongly recommend you try yourself, you test. I did, and it's really, really good. And this enables us to give the next step, right? You build not something that we can go way beyond this chat interface that can only talk to someone, but you can have an agent that does something. So you could do multiple things that can help you achieve tasks, finish tasks. So this is one of the main things for Gemini 3. Also, in terms of coming back to benchmarks, I don't like talking about numbers and benchmarks only, but this is an important one. We were the top one for Web Dev Arena. We're not the top one anymore, like I guess as of today, but the difference, if you look the difference there, it may be like 3-4 points. So we're not far from top anymore. And this is how the field moves, right? It moves really fast. Things are happening every day. But it's that's how it is, right? We'll keep working on that. That's why the Google DeepMind team is working already on the next version, of course. We are always working on the next version because this field is evolves really fast. Everything's happening all the time. So we'll keep moving. We'll keep improving. Next. One cool thing that we also released last week is the Gemini 3 Pro version that can generate image. We already had a model to do that. We called Nano Banana. I don't know if you use this model. It's the one that generates images. It's a pretty fun model. Now we made a version based on Gemini 3. The previous version was based on Gemini 2.5 Flash, so it was a faster model, but based on a like, let's say, smaller model, weaker, let's say like that. Now we created a version based on Gemini 3. We released this last Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And this model is it's just insane, right? I strongly recommend you go try it after this talk, not right now. Pay attention to what I'm saying. So the idea is this model enables you to have all these professional features. You can have studio quality images. And if you look at the image here on the right, what is happening there is like there's all these small images. I can give all these small images to the model and tell it, create an image that uses all of this in a proper way, right? Combine them. And you can get the answer that you see of the larger image. And this is amazing, right? It composed a new image based on these small pieces. And you can compose with from many places. You can compose with people. You can have like 10 people and say compose in a group picture. You can do a lot of things. It is very good at rendering text now. And we'll see that enables new capabilities just because it can render text so well. It enables new features that we weren't even aware. We found out it after the model was ready. It can connect to Google search. It can give you multiple resolutions. We can do 4K images. You can change the aspect ratio. You can do all of that. Let's see some examples. For example, here is one. The prompt is generate an infographic about the last F1 race. First of all, the model, of course, do not know about the last F1 race. So using search, the model could find out, oh, these are the people that won. Based on that, it created this infographic. And creating an infographic has one specific aspect that's very hard, which is rendering text consistently. And as you can see, this is the infographic there. It's pretty consistent, right? Pretty good. You can read everything. And this is something that image generation models were pretty weak. And this is, I mentioned one of the features is rendering text. And of course, we didn't train the model to do infographics. But because it's so good at rendering text, it's very good at doing infographics. So people are going crazy with infographics, doing all kinds of, and they can do many things. They can explain ideas to you. So let's see the next one. This one is using search, right? Search gives you that. But for example, you could give an image of a place and ask for it to explain to you. The prompt over there is turn this into an informative visual explainer about this place. You can do this with basically anything. You can get a robotic schematics. You can get whatever schematics, put it there, and it can generate this thing with this small tips about places, 2 tips about places. And this is very good, so you can understand things visually. And remember, this is based on Gemini 3, so you have all this word knowledge from the model baked in. So it's not something that's separated. The model understands the word just as much as Gemini 3. So it brings all this information to you. And this is very cool. But more than that, you can ask, okay, this is the marketing deck. You can clearly see there's a beautiful image. It would be better if I show something more, okay, how real is this, right? Well, let's try something real here. This is my dog, right? She's Luna, she's cute. And one thing is I would like to try Nano Banana with this picture and see what's possible, right? So what I did is I got this picture first, and I asked to generate some variations of Luna. For example, an astronaut, chef, CEO, and watching movies. And they can, first of all, you can see that Luna, it's pretty easy to figure out that's from her, right? But more than that, you can see the style. For example, the first one, the astronaut, is I asked for a realistic one, like a photorealistic one. And then the one for the chef, I requested for something, I don't know if it was watercolor or is the watching TV is watercolor, something like that. And I also asked for a sepia, a more vintage one for the CEO. You can see the color. So it knows all of it. It can do all of that. And that's cool and all, but I would like to test the infographic capability. So I asked for it to create Daily's Luna routine. And this is what it created. And of course, for these times, I shared, hey, Luna's routine is this. At this time it does that, this time it does that, blah, blah. And I gave the pictures. I create a daily routine card for me. And it created this one, which is pretty good, right? This is one shot, right? I didn't need to update anything. For me, it was perfect already. I'm probably going to print this and put on my living room because it's pretty cool. And but one other thing I did is I created a version of her doing a iced matcha latte because my daughter likes that very much. And this is again, make Luna barista doing iced matcha latte. That's it. So, and by the way, I requested the iced matcha latte with coconut milk and a scoop of vanilla. And why does it matter? It matters because if I don't know if you can see my mouse here, it matters because you can see there's a coconut milk cardboard over there on the bottom right, and there's a vanilla thing here at the bottom. So it puts all these details, right? It's full of details, and more the coconut milk card box, you can read it. So it's pretty good. This image is scarily, it's too good. It's like to be fair, right? It's pretty good. But we'll come back to that in a little bit. One other model that we also created and shared this year is VO3. Now we're in version 3.1 already. But VO does something pretty cool. It can go from a prompt or an image and create a video. And this video is very good, and it has audio with it. So you can create short stories really quickly, just from one image. And this is also part of our APIs. And oh, sorry, give me a second. That's something open here. And this, yes, nice. And then you're like, okay, how good is this video? Let me show you one example. Let's see.
I'm doing this iced matcha latte with coconut milk and 2 vanilla scoops for my preferred human.
This is so cute. Thanks.
So, so this video was created from that barista image, right? It's like there are 3 videos there. Because VO generates 3 seconds. I'll play it again so you can see why I'm talking.
I'm doing this iced matcha latte with coconut milk.
But I had to remove the audio. So what happened here? I gave that first image and said, continue the story. So it made the dog, Luna, do the iced matcha latte. And then I told her to take it to her preferred human. And that's what happened. All of this has audio, so she was saying that I'm preparing an iced matcha latte for my preferred human. I'm taking it to her. There's some barking at the end. all has audio. I didn't put the audio here because it's technology, right? But you can. That's easy to do. I did that like in a couple of minutes, and I didn't. You may ask how many tries did I to get to that result? I would say it took me maybe adding everything up. It took like maybe 5 tries to make this video. 5 tries. And why 5 tries? Because sometimes, for example, there was one version that another dog showed up. I said, no, I don't want this. There was a version that when she was flying, I didn't like how the clouds were. So it was just details, right? The model is pretty good. So this is VO3. And these are all their proprietary models, right? You have to go through our APIs. There are multiple reasons for that, but the idea is that you have access to these APIs. Of course, they're paid, right? Gemini 3 and Nano Banana, Veo, they're all paid APIs. I guess they have a free quota for some parts of it, but if you want to build something, you probably have to pay the API. And they are running on our servers, Google servers. But the other point that comes is, okay, this solves a lot of problems already. But in some situations, you will want to customize your model with your own data, or you will want to run it on your phone, or you have to run this on your own server for compliance or legal or some kind of country restriction. There's a lot of moments where you need to own the model. And this is why we have our Gemma family of models. It's our open weights LLMs. You can go and download them right now and run on your own computer, build systems with them. They are commercial friendly. You can use them for a commercial product. You can fine tune them. You can make them learn about your data, something that you may not want to do. You may not want to share your data. For example, if there is some kind of IP concerns or privacy, for example, healthcare. Healthcare is a very good example because you might not want your health information to be sent to a server, even if you trust Google and all, but maybe you don't want that to happen. That's fine. You could build something using Gemma in your data, right? Or your doctor could do that. So this is a possibility that enables other capabilities that proprietary models cannot do. This is an infographic, of course, generated by Nano Banana about all the releases from Gemma. You can see there's a lot of gems around there, right? A lot of them. And because since 2024, we've been releasing, I guess, almost every month. On average, if you add up all the launches, divided by number of months, we probably release one thing per month for sure. We didn't release anything this month yet, but usually it's every month we have some kind of release. And many models, many variants, many cool things. And the latest core model we have is Gemma 3, which comes in 3 sizes, one for B12 and 27. And these are our most strongest open models, right? They are pretty good, to be fair. We're talking about models that fit on one GPU. So these models are cheaper to run and very strong, and you can fine tune all of them. They're multilingual, so they understand more than 140 languages. They are multimodal, so they can understand images. You can give an image to it, and it will explain. You can give multiple images to it because it has a long context also. It's not as long as Gemini. It's 128K tokens, but this given this model is smaller and it's running on one GPU, of course, having 1 million contexts may not make sense. So for its size, it's pretty strong. It's available. You can download right now and build something. We had some hackathons that we did on Kaggle to highlight this model and what the community build is so beautiful. We are releasing, I guess, next week a blog post showing some of the results. I would strongly recommend you go read the blog post. It's really beautiful what people build with it. And talking about sensitive data, we have one variant that came from Gemma 3. It's called Mad Gemma. So one of the internal teams, the healthcare team here inside Google, they fine-tuned Gemma 3 to know about healthcare and to understand how answer questions related to this. And this model is available right now. It's on Vertex, Hugging Face, everywhere. And you can use it as is, but the idea is for you to fine tune for use case, but it enables you to build healthcare applications using AI, which is something pretty important, right? Because you can bring all this information to help a doctor, a nurse, or a student learning. So there's all these cool use cases that we have many variants. I'm not going to go into details on all of them, so otherwise it would take it's like a 40 minutes talk. But MedGem is a good example I just want to show. More than just having models, I told you about tools. We last week released the Google Anti-Gravity tool, which is IDE for you to develop applications that's powered by these agentic capabilities. So it has Gemini 3 as the model that can help you code. So it's more than just an IDE that you can ask Gemini questions. It's an IDE focused on agentic coding, let's say like that, right? So you create tasks and let agents, sub-agents, build these features in your app. So this is pretty new. It's pretty, it's a different way of coding. Of course, you can go and code by hand as you would. There's an IDE, there's a code editor, same thing as always, but you can start a task for, oh, fix this bug, add this feature, while you do something else, and the agent will keep working, create a branch on your GitHub repository, and then go to a point where it will just need you to commit, and the feature will be there, test, code, all of that. Strongly recommend to take a look if you're a developer. We also have the Gemini CLI, which enables you to use Gemini models from the command line. If you like to use the command line tools like this, you can create image videos, use Gemini from there, or just, it can be a code assistant also, because it uses Gemini 3 as a backend. So this is more like a developer tool also, I would say. And in terms of other places where the models are showing up, we have a couple of examples here, but I would like to focus on 3 specifically for lack of time. Notebook LM, Gemini Live, and Deep Research. Notebook LM is, imagine if you could talk to your data, right? If you could ask questions about your data. So Notebook LM is basically that. You can start a project, drop all your data that you have, like PDFs, URLs, videos. It will create, it will have a chat, it will create some cards of summaries. You can create a podcast from your data. That's pretty good, to be fair. That's something that I use a lot. It creates a presentation. You can ask questions directly to the model about your data. So if you're studying something, this is just amazing. I'll give you an example. With my daughter, we were studying countries. And I don't know if you try to read the Wikipedia page of a country, it's very boring because it's just like information, right? It's like a lot of information, economics, politics, culture, everything. So consuming that, and it's very long, right? Lots of details, lots of history. It's amazing information, but it's hard to consume, let's say like that. So what we did is we would just copy the URL from the Wikipedia page to Notebook LM, and it would create a podcast that we would listen, 10 minutes, listen to the podcast of 2 people discussing the content of the Wikipedia, and not as if they were talking about, oh, let's visit, I don't know, Brazil. Let's visit Brazil, and then they start talking about all the details from the Wikipedia page. And this is so good, so good. I strongly recommend you do that. You can do for anything, but if you want to just start playing, you could do for example country, you could do musical instruments. We did for some musical instruments also. So anything that you want to learn more, you just put there, listen to the podcast. Very good. The other thing is Gemini Live, which is one of the features inside the Gemini app. And Gemini Live is you can just talk to a model, talk directly to Gemini. And this is very, very cool because the model understands when you stop talking, when you interrupt, when you're and there's it's a very good conversation. So if you're walking and you have a question, you could talk directly to the model while walking, or it's a pretty good interface. I'm very excited. I asked many questions about, do you know when you're walking and you have a question, it's like, why does this work like that? And then you just ask and have a conversation about it it's like having a conversation with an expert at any time. So this is pretty cool. And the other one is deep research. Deep research is using Gemini to study a subject more deeply and give you a report. So when I want to learn something new, I can go there and say, I want to learn about this topic, topic Y. Let's talk about agents. I want to learn more about agents, what they are, how they work, what are the frameworks. And then what will happen is deep research will go search Google for multiple sources, summarize, cross-reference, do a large report about this, and you can go and read the reports later and learn from that. And that report you can put on Notebook LM, for example, and get a podcast from it. So you can use all of these tools to learn things. And this is just the beginning, right? This is the new era we're entering, where all these innovations are available to you and will help accelerate new breakthroughs to solve problems. And everyone can be part of it. That's why I was showing all these tools, so you can all try to use, try to learn. There's so many possibilities. And one thing for some people, this is kind of, people are afraid, this is moving too fast. What I would suggest, as someone that lives and breathes this every day, because it's part of my job, I would suggest that you start learning, start playing with the tools at least, even if you're not going to build anything yet. Try to use the tools, try to learn how they work. I think that will be part of everyone's life. The same way you do search, the same way you read a page, you would use Gemini to do something, right? To ask a question, and start to understand this, to be part of this revolution. I think it's the best approach here. Even if you think that, there's a lot of hype, which is sad because it gives unrealistic expectations. And that's why I would say, try the models, go try all these tools and see how good they are and how they can help you on a daily basis on doing your job, doing your tasks. I think that's the best approach for all of us. And I hope this was helpful. That's all I have for today. Thank you very much.
All right, so I see we don't have any questions from attendees.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so attendees, feel free to drop any questions or any conclusions you guys got. Sunny, I see you raised your hand. You got any questions? So we still got a time. So in meantime, if you guys don't have any questions, so Gus, you can start. If you got anything else on your plate to show something to our attendees, any interesting stuff or something, we can do that. We still got couple of more minutes.
I guess no, I don't have. I would present a AI studio, but I think wouldn't have enough time to do a full presentation. But I strongly recommend you go to this link here. Let me put here in the chat, AI.dev.
Sure.
And people can take a look, play with the models. They're available there, so you can try see what's available. Also, the Gemini app is pretty fun. The Gemini app is more like a consumer app. Imagine, so you can access the model directly on AI Studio, AI.dev. You can try the model. That's exactly what the model answers. When you go into Gemini app, it's what you can build with the model. What's the best application you can build with that model as an assistant? And that's the Gemini app. It's using the raw model, but with a lot of other things around it, right? It's not just the model. And this is something that you can try, so I strongly recommend. It would be great to have a deep dive session on AI Studio. That I agree. Fernando Lafuente, deep dive on AI Studio would be nice. I agree. Maybe Aziza can help organize that. And any other questions? If anyone have any questions, I'm already going to answer. So Kumaran asked if there is a Gen AI GitHub, all these Gen AI stack tools. They have multiple GitHub repositories, to be fair. Sorry for that. There's no unified one, but there's a cookbook for Gemini, for example. If you search for cookbook Gemini, there's one with many recipes on how to use Gemini for everything you can imagine. Not only Gemini, but Nano Banana, Vio, all of those. They show you how to use the API. So I would strongly recommend it. Let me see if I can find real quick for you. I can put the link here. Gemini cookbook. And here is this. One sec. Here it is. Here it is. For Gemini, there's this. Feel free to play with it. Lots of cool stuff there. Yep. Any other question? Would love to see Gus build a small multi-agent system example. Yeah, that would be nice, Krish. But of course, I cannot do that now on time. But it's pretty good to be easy to, not pretty easy, right? It's buildable, takes multiple steps, but that's pretty something you can do. Where you see yourself in 5 years? That's for Mr. Specifics. Where do I see myself in 5 years? That's a good one. Are you trying to hire me? That's a hiring question. To be honest, I don't know. I see these models evolving, and they are always evolving. So people say, oh, they're not evolving anymore. They are evolving. They're changing. They're getting new capabilities. They're getting stronger and stronger on each iteration. And I think we'll keep evolving. One thing that I see from these models is that, for example, Gemini 3, Gemini 2.5 was still state-of-the-art in some categories, some capabilities. Even after, like, it was launched at Google I/O, right? So even after, 6 months, it was still the best in things. Gemini 3, it's better than that. So we are pushing our own capabilities. We're not looking on the competitors only. We're pushing our own because we are still the best in some things. Even after 6 months, no other model could reach the level we had. If this continues, at some point we are competing only against our previous models, right? Because our models are so strong. And that will enable new capabilities that we are not even aware today. For example, these infographics I showed for Nana Banana, nobody was thinking about it. It's like someone figured out it can do it, and it can. And this is something that's, I think we'll keep seeing these new capabilities showing up, enable new products, new things to be built. So I'm very excited about that. I don't know what will be available in 5 years because it's hard to predict even the next year because things move so fast and we don't really know, right? So it's pretty hard. It will be very interesting, to be fair, to see how much it will evolve. I'm very excited to be on this field. Because that's where things are happening and it's fun. It's fun to see things happening and new things happening. Any other questions? Click. Hi, Gus. What then go? So Maral is asking, what then go or in the near future the team set up for the final version, let's say, considering it's already working pretty well as multimodality. Oh, so what's next? That's a good question, Maral. I think the model is pretty good, pretty strong, but there's still places where it can be improved, I would say, right? So maybe we can do better at a coding assistant, right? Maybe we could push. Sometimes it fails, and we want to decrease these failings to 0, let's say like that, right? 0 is pretty hard, but maybe decrease as much as possible. So there's always something to improve. So the people we look at benchmarks and see how can we increase our benchmark numbers here. How can we improve our data sets to be better used by the training of the model? So there's a lot of stuff happening to how to improve data sets, how to improve the model per se, the architecture, how to improve the techniques used in the model. So there's a lot of research on that, a lot, and people are still pushing. Of course, we're working always on something new, and that's on Gemini only. There's other teams working on other categories of models. For example, weather prediction, protein AlphaFold, for example. And there's many research going all at the same time. Sometimes they connect, sometimes they diverge. And so there's a lot of stuff happening. And the idea is we have multiple teams that are very excited about making things better and better. And I don't know if there's, of course, the end goal people say is the AGI. I am not smart enough to know that, to be fair, if we will get there, when we'll get there. People say 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. I know that these tools already help today. And that's what I'm trying to tell people, that look, it's working today. And if you use it, you are using the worst version of Gemini if you look into the future, right? Because the next version will be better. So if now it's already great, it will be even better. So this is a great possibility to build cool stuff. What's the end game? I don't know. Good question. But what I know is that it's helping already. So that's where I am. Do you think Google search will disappear? Definitely not. So these models, they depend on Google search. Start from there, right? And there's nothing can be done without proper search. And Google search has a specific role of, I need to find something. These models, they do not find something. It's not their goal, right? And the data they know has to be validated, because these models, unfortunately, they still hallucinate, even very strong one. But if they have a search, if they see that they're hallucinating, they can ground this in the search and fix their answer and give you the correct answer. So search will not disappear. And by what we've seen, it increased in use. So it's definitely not disappearing, because it's a critical tool for all the pipelines. Thank you. Which Google suite best to fine-tune? Which Google suite is best to use to fine-tune Gemma 3 models? That's a good question. What I would say is not there. You can use JAX. JAX works, but the easiest one as of now is one from the community called Unsloth. They're pretty good. They optimize the models to run on public notebooks. So I will take a look on Unsloth. It's this name here, Unsloth. They're pretty good. And they're nice people, so take a look on their tool. It's pretty good to fine-tune Gemma 3 models. Of course, you can, if you want to go deeper, you can use JAX. JAX is more, you need to understand the framework better. So there's a steeper learning curve, but those two are okay, good, right? Thank you for the question. When do you think we could expect a magical focus model like MedGemma to be used by? So Carlos Arzaga. Gus, thank you for the presentation. Thank you. When do you think we could expect a medical focus model like MedGemma be used by physicians, clinicians on a daily basis? That's a very good question. I would love to be today, but again, not everyone move at the same speed as we in tech, right? So healthcare moves in a different pace. The fact that we have a model to help them, it's already a big deal, because I don't think they would have the expertise to be very good on healthcare and AI at the same time, it's hard, right? It's not something that anyone can do. And now that they have the model, they can focus on their healthcare and understanding and processes and stuff like that. So I think that maybe next year we might start to see some stuff landing. I hope. It would be amazing if we could start having something to help physicians and clinicians, right? Because if we can make them more, use their time better, they can help more people, right? So this is a big win all by itself. So I hope next year we could have something. Thank you very much. Notebooks available offline? No. So Alessandro Farassi, notebook LM is not available offline because it depends on Gemini models, right? So it has to be connected. You have to be on the internet. I mean, aiming at making it capable of doing everything that only developers were able to do for now. So Maral is asking if aiming to make capable of doing everything that only developers were able to do for now, so it can replace the entire system. I don't know if it's going to replace entire systems. It might be a very strong tool. Imagine very strong to help you with all boilerplate code that you don't want to build. But writing the specs, understanding systems, all of that, I don't know if the model will be the best on that. For now, what I know is they're trying to make sure that whenever you prompt it for an answer, coding answer, it will solve it the best way possible, right? Today, sometimes it makes mistakes. Sometimes it uses a library that you didn't want it to use. So they're trying to push to make it to make you trust more, right? At some point, you trust almost blindly. You shouldn't, but it will get to a point that it's always right. You just review, move on. But I think that software developers, software engineers, will always be useful because they think different from regular people. So, for example, if you let one of your parents or kid use Gemini to build a vibe code something, they can get to a point, oh, I have something working. That something working might work for them. It will most definitely not work as a product because they don't understand how to put things on a server, having a database, making things work for many users at the same time. There's all this kind of knowledge that's specific for software developers or people that develop a system, right? And vibe coders that are just, I'm a lawyer, right? I'm a lawyer. Let me vibe code something from, yeah, perfect, it works for you, but as a system, you might need a software engineer to come, understand what you need, and reuse that to make something for multiple users. And this is something that's pretty, happens all the time. I don't know if these mods will evolve to replace that. I'm pretty sure, I don't think it can get there. For example, I built an app that is a fun fact. I put on LinkedIn, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll find it's a fun fact creator, not creator. It tells me a fun fact about math, for example, and it creates an infographic. It works for me. I can even share, but the database is a spreadsheet. And the way it's configured, the spreadsheet is like kind of open to anyone to write, which is, let's say, not super safe. And then, if that's not a real application, I cannot ship that to people, right? It works for me if I share with my daughter, for example, she can play with it, but I'm not going to share that as a product. So I see that if a software engineer would get that and then make a proper product from there, right? It has the beginning and then it continue the development and build something. So I don't think it will replace software engineers. I think they increase the need of, I hope it increase the need for more software engineers, to be fair. So Google, Mr. Specifics, when Google start charging on their grid, so we are ready. So a bunch of our, I don't know if modules or models. Let's answer both. Modules we charge already, right? Gemini Pro, Nano, Banana, View, they're all charged. They have an API cost. It's not super expensive, but there's a cost. For JAX, Keras, ADK, Gemma, all these are open things, right? Open source or open models. And the idea, we're not going to charge that. The idea is that you come use those on Google Cloud, for example. Make your deployment there because it's so much easier on Google Cloud, we can use there. So that's where we would like to use. And some things are open so people can use, and we don't want to make money out of it. We want to make everyone have access and build cool stuff. Hopefully you're going to build your cool stuff using our surface like Google Cloud or Android Chrome, all of that, right? How do you know on what to focus as an expert? Because everything is interesting. How do you know on what to focus as an expert? Because everything is interesting. That's a very good question. What I try to do, I cannot focus on everything, right? I have my job, and I still want to learn other stuff from other teams. No matter how much resources they share, if I'm to learn, I like to build with it. So what I do is I try sometimes to build something with a new thing. So when Gemini 3 came, I built this fun fact app to see how to play with the model. And I built these things with Nano Banana to see how the model works. So I think one thing you can do is you can put some time to try these tools and see how they work and how they can help you. But as an expert, you can. One thing I believe is you cannot be expert on multiple things. I don't believe that. You can be expert on one thing. You can be very good, but on many, it's hard because there's so many things. But learning and see how they work and having like a mental model, that's pretty much doable. So I put some time every day to try cool tools, cool new things happening. And after a while, you start to get a sense of, oh, this is just BS. I don't need to worry about this. This is important. Let me take a look. So you have to be in a position where you can quickly see and say, oh, this is not important. This is important. Let me pay attention. This is important to me. This can help me here. So you have to be able to do that real quickly. Otherwise, it's very hard. Do you have any insights on what went into MedGemma? Oh, that's a good question here. Do you have any insights on what went into MedGemma? I use MedGemma and Gemma 3 for some medical Q&A, and they seem to give similar answers, but output format is different. I don't have the data sets. I think they have something on their model card. I don't know exactly the detail, but for understanding images, for example, X-ray image and stuff like that, if you start to ask more deeper questions, the model is better. That's at least what we see in the benchmarks. What you're seeing is that Gemma 3 is already a very strong model. It can do a lot of cool stuff, but MedGemma is stronger, understanding more deep healthcare data, and that's, I guess, expected, right? So I would go into their model card to see if they tell what data sets they use. I don't know if that's open to everyone. Do you do penetration tests in your final products before deliver them? I don't know if penetration test is like hacking attacks. I don't know. And if the answer is for hacking, for Gemini, probably yes, but I don't know. I'm not involved into that part. I better not. I don't know. But I don't think they do, but I don't know.